Alright, grade 8s, this is the last part that you need. The only real difference between what the grade 7s were doing and what the grade 8s do is that you have to work backwards through all your formulas, and you also have to do some surface area of a cylinder, which they don't have to do because you're working backwards through your formulas. So anyhow, we'll do an example of each. Start with their study guide, start with the first study guide, and then you should be working on this one to end off. Anyhow, here are 4 questions. In the first one here, this rectangle, it gives you a perimeter of 37, gives you 2 of the sides, but doesn't give you the width and asks you to work backwards to find what they are. In the second question, gives you the area of 56 centimeters and one side, but it doesn't tell you what the other side is. Lastly, you have 2 circles. One, it gives you the circumference. One, it gives you the area. In this one, it asks you for the radius, and in the other one, it asks you for the diameter. So anyhow, you know the drill. Get them all copied down, press pause, then check your answers with mine to make sure that that's how you did them. All right, here you go. On the first one, we have the perimeter, and we start with our formula for perimeter. I know there are different perimeter formulas for area of a rectangle and area of a square, but for what we're doing today, side plus side plus side just works, and it's easier to fit our algebra into. So we'll just leave it at that. Anyhow, so there's your formula. You fill in what you know. We don't know what the sides are, so I gave them a value of x. Because both sides are the same, we give them the same variable, so it's actually x plus x. When we get down to it, we really have, and you fill in the information, 37 is our perimeter, equals 20 plus 2x. Now that we know what our equation is, and we've put in all the stuff we know, we solve it algebraically, and we find out that the unknown side that you don't know is 8.5. I guess it would be centimeters. Should add that in. There's no check to do this algebraically. That was when we're just doing straight algebra. Now we're having you apply it to different situations in mathematics. Anyhow, next is an area one, where it gives you the area and one of your sides. We start with our formula of area of a rectangle, which is length times width. We fill in our known values, which we know 6 is one length, and we're going to multiply it by m. I don't know why I picked m. Well, I shouldn't have picked m because this is in meters. Let me just change that so that doesn't confuse you. 6 centimeters. Anyhow, we divide the 6 out of both sides, and we get that m equals 9.3. And we've done lots and lots of algebra, so you should be pretty good with that. Now to our 2 circles. In the first, we were given the circumference and asked for the radius. So in this point, you always start with your formula. You would fill it in, and you get 48 is equal to 3.14 times d. We have to get the pi out of there. We divide it. We get d equals 15.29. The question asks for radius. Radius is half the diameter, 7.64. And lastly, over here on the far right, we have area of a circle. Again, I'll always start with formula. We divide pi out of it on both sides. It gives us with r squared, and this is where we learned that new button about a week and a half ago, the square root button. The only way to get rid of a squared sign is to use a square root button. So you type in the 38.85, hit the square root button, it gives you that a radius is 6.23 for that circle. The question, however, asks for diameter. Diameter is twice the radius. You simply multiply it by 2, and you get 12.46. Anyhow, the only other thing that you are responsible for that is not on the grade 7 test prep is the surface area of a cylinder. We've done quite a few of them in class. I'll do one more for you right here. Make that 5 meters. Make this, I don't know, 12 meters. And we're going to do the surface area. We already know how to do the volume, but the surface area is just a little bit different. So go ahead and press pause. Think it through. We've done them in class. It has something to do with circumference. And then we go ahead and do your stuff. Here we go. Okay, guys, it's important you remember that the way to solve these problems is to first draw the net. And once you draw the net, you'll realize you really don't have the other measurement you need for your rectangle. we talked about cutting the circle out of a can, and we realized that the circumference of the circle really is the same as the width of that cylinder. If we were to cut that can apart and turn the upright portion of it into a rectangle, it's going to be the same number as your circumference. So that's your first step in doing this question after you draw your net, is to do circumference. We do circumference, pi times d. We know the diameter of that circle is 10, so we figure out that the circumference of that circle is 31.4 meters. Now, unfortunately, when I put 31.4 meters on my diagram, I can tell I didn't really draw my diagram to scale, but that's neither here nor there. That's just a minor problem. Anyhow, now when we're going to do surface area, we have to look at the shapes we have. We have two circles and one rectangle. If we have two circles, we simply multiply. We do the area of the circle once. That gave us 78.5. We multiply it by 2 because there's two of them. Similar, we do the area of a rectangle. You do it one time. Now we use that 31.4. Now that I'm looking at it, I can see I made a mistake. I multiplied 12 times 3.14 instead of 31.4. So give me a quick second. It's not a major issue, just got to move that decimal number over a bit. 376.8 meters squared. And when we add our area of our rectangle with our area of our two circles, that's 376.8 plus 157 for a total surface area of 533.8 meters squared. Alright guys, you're going to do great on this test, but you do have to study. A lot of these will be presented to you as word problems, and you'll have to figure out what it's asking you. Just simply knowing how to do it when it's presented to you at face value isn't good enough. You have to know what the concept is behind it and be ready to apply it. Practice and good luck.